Hi folks, welcome back to the channel. We're going to revisit hills again today, so we may as well get straight into it. Now, in the first hills video we looked at modular stacking hills, so ones that stacked vertically to give you a little bit of variety. This time we're going to be looking at modular hills horizontally. Now, to start off with, I have 4 squares of polystyrene. You can use whatever material you want, whatever cutting implements you want. Doesn't matter, it all works exactly the same way. 4 squares. Your first thing is get a marker pen and just mark right at the corner a 45-degree line, and then the opposite one a 45-degree line there. That is so that when we lay these together, all of the angles on those corners are going to be the same. I'll get on with these and cut them out. So they're cut out, and you can obviously see they all join together and you've got one nice big hill. Or you can take them apart, use it as a table edge, or table corners. Pop those to one side for a minute and we're going to expand the connection. Another piece, and we'll just shave the front of that one and it'll join in the middle. There you go, 2 centre sections added. This one was just another square and all I did was take the edge off that one. This one was actually an oblong. I measured out my diagonal cut from the previous square ones and just took it out a little bit. There you go, there's a line of hills. One really big hill in the centre, and that's the basic procedure for making horizontal modular hills. I'll go back and pretty these up, give them some ground cover and paint the way that I did in the first hills video. Now, let's look at something slightly different. No, I'm not making an extremely large wall. We're going to move on to mountains. Now today I'm going to be remaking a set that I had to get rid of when we moved house, and I'm sure that I'm going to be able to make them just a little bit better. But the really good thing, and the bit that I love about mountain terrain in any encounter, whether it's a war game or in Dungeons and Dragons or things like that, is 1, the terrain is nice and big and imposing, but 2, from a gameplay point of view, just having that sheer verticality of things brings in so many new ideas, like flyers or blocking line of sight or things like that. It really does make your game interesting. So these, in anybody's collection, I really reckon are a must-have. Because we're going for a more vertical type of scenery, nice big blocks are the order of the day. We're not going to make that. You can make them if you want modular so that you can stack them on top, but I would recommend that we actually make them as one piece, a tiered hill which all sticks together. Then we can put a little bit more ground cover on it to make it more mountainy. So, because we're talking sheer cliffs, we're not going to be looking at 45-degree angles around the sides. We're going to be looking a little bit more upright because we want those mountains to look nice and vertical and imposing. So, this piece is a little bit damaged. That doesn't particularly matter because we're going to be covering it up in any case. It's also a little bit on the big side, so let's just use my hot knife. Get it to a more manageable size, and then we'll take the sides off. And that's the sort of thing we want to be left with. Slightly tapered sides, but still almost vertical. A little bit of a shape to it to make it look more natural. I'll get lots more of these cut out and we'll start joining them together. So we've got a load of mountain pieces cut out. They haven't been joined together yet. You can see some of them are 2-tier. Some of them have gone up to 3-tier. Really depends on the size of the polystyrene you've got. In some cases, and I'll use this one as an example, because it is very much scrap polystyrene that I've used, you can see that this one has some holes in there. So we'll just quickly cover that up. It's not so much of a problem on the top because hopefully your ground cover would just cover that over, but in some cases where there's a hole on sort of the facing edge, we really probably do want to cover that. And that repair job is dead easy. A little bit of watered down PVA. Brush it around the area. Tissue paper. Put it over like a plaster. A little bit more PVA on top. Make sure it's wet down the sides. Get those edges sitting down properly, and then because all of my cuts were very much showing up vertically, just a quick rundown with a paintbrush to blend it in. Dead simple. Finally, joining it together. Couldn't be easier. We're just going to use PVA and a toothpick if it will actually go through, or you may need something like a bamboo skewer just cut down. Pop it straight through where you want to join. PVA. Straight on like that. And I'm just using this neat. There you have it. Sorry, there you have it. Last thing, we're going to get some ground cover on. Straight PVA. And just on these joints, I'm going to get some PVA down there. And we're going to go all the way around. And this stuff is straight coral sand. We're just going to get some of that as large rocks around that join. That should hopefully hide the join quite nicely. Wait a few minutes for that to dry. And then finally, all of our flat areas are going to get a coat of builder's sand using our usual mix of neat PVA, a little bit of water and some detergent just to break up the surface tension. Now I can leave that to dry and it's due a paint coat. Very simple one, dark grey base all over, probably water it down a little bit, light grey dry brush to highlight it. I'll show you the finished results. Not a bad haul from one crafting session, even if I do say so myself. Obviously I allowed it overnight to dry, but a set of hills, some mountain scenery. One thing that I did sneak in between filming sessions is this one, just so that I could prove a point. Obviously you don't need to make everything vertical. You've got the option of putting tunnels and caves and things like that in any of your builds. Just depends on which way you cut it. So that's it for this time. As ever, hit like, subscribe, share if you want. Otherwise I will see you next time. And I get the feeling it's going to be something a little bit different. Bye for now.